What are you willing to give up in order to achieve your goal? I know that you have a goal that you're working towards because you watch my videos, and my videos are not like other anime videos on the internet that I have ever seen. So I understand that you are working towards a goal, and that goal could be anything. It could be making more money. It could be being able to have a girlfriend. It could be having more persuasion, charisma, confidence, self-esteem, overall progression in life. Your goal could be anything. It could be to have a business, to have a successful YouTube channel. Like, your goal is yours to decide on what it is. And myself, I had a goal, and I have a goal that I've worked towards, and I had to do certain things in order to give up or to be able to reach my said goal. And the sad part is you have to do the same thing as well too, and why you need to stop watching anime. It's not a bad thing. I stopped. It doesn't have to be forever. It's just a temporary thing, and it doesn't have to be entirely like stop it every single day type of thing. It's just more of like giving yourself the freedom and the ability to not watch it, say, every morning or every afternoon or every day, or binge watch a full series right before you go to bed. This applies to also TV and video games and other aspects that aren't going to be helping you reach your goal. My goal was to be able to become like the best salesman that I could possibly be, to understand how to persuade and influence and like intrigue people to wanting to buy and helping them solve problems through making sure that I would never be manipulated myself. So like I spent time reading books and meditating and going out, and I couldn't watch anime because anime was a thing that caused me so much pain and suffering because I didn't like and enjoy the people when I would tell them like, hey, I watch anime. If, like, they would make fun of me, and it always tied back to this one girl in high school. I don't know why, but it was more like I wore this one t-shirt, and it was like a Reese's t-shirt. It wasn't even like an anime t-shirt or anything like that, but it's just like I didn't feel comfortable than wearing clothes and like being around and like saying these certain things like, oh, I watch anime or whatever it may be, because it felt like I would just get made fun of. And I know things have changed, and which is great. It's just for a very long time, I myself could not watch anime. I gave it up entirely. I gave up watching movies and TV shows, and I don't watch as much as I do now either. I give myself maybe 1 or 2 days a week. Lately, I've been watching a bit more just because I've been making these YouTube channel videos around like cartoons such as like Rick and Morty or like My Hero or Demon Slayer, which is coming up. But you guys can go check out that video that I just did. But basically what I did and why I still watch My Hero to this day is because that was the one anime that I kind of gave myself permission to. And I know permission is a whole different thing, but like I gave myself permission to watch this one anime every Saturday morning. It was the thing that I looked forward to, like, because I would go to work, so I could go do my job, my video editing job that I had, and like it was great, it was wonderful. And I'd listen to some podcasts, whatever it may have been during that time, because I understood that like if I just watched anime in my early 20s, like I wouldn't be able to amount or be proud of the man. And I was talking about this in the Demon Slayer video, so you can go watch more of that to have a little bit more in-depth analysis of this. But it's just like I had to go back and be able to be somebody that wasn't quote unquote wasting time watching anime and like escaping into a world that wasn't going to be benefiting me in the long run. Like, yeah, it would benefit me in the short run. Like, yeah, it gave me good feelings and it felt great, but I also kind of like had this empty feeling when I like binge watch a full show. So it was like, I can't do this all the time. So it was great having My Hero Academia, where like I would wake up on Saturday mornings after a week full of like working 40 to like 36 or 44 hours depending on the week, going to the gym, reading either a book like Psycho-Cybernetics, 4-Hour Work Week, Never Split the Difference, Unshakable by Tony Robbins, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, like Influenced by Robert Cialdini, I believe that's his name. Like any book in it you can think of, like I would just read those books when I come home, and I'd set up like these schedules and have it in place of like, okay, I'm going to read this because I need to educate myself. And then I go out and I try this said thing. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie is another book, which I recommend everybody reading that book if you haven't read that already. And then also Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, depending on if your circumstances are bad, because he was an Auschwitz camp survivor, and highly recommend his book. But basically, like, I couldn't do the things that I once enjoyed as a kid because I knew I needed to be somebody else. I knew I needed to work on becoming a man that I myself could be proud of, that wouldn't be picked on or bullied or like shunned, and who knows, maybe the world would have been different, because there's been this girl that I ended up making friends with at NDK last year, and her and I, we chat and talk from time to time, and she's great, and like she's big into cosplay and like doing all those things, and she found her tribe and her community, even though she had to go do those things by herself. Myself, that was never something that I was really called to do. That was never like an interest that I had. I just stumbled upon One Piece one day, and I was like, this is sick. Like there's fighting and there's action, there's like blood and gore, and then like anime just like brought me down this whole different route, because like I would always kind of get like kind of scolded when I would play video games all the time when I started to get a little bit older, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just watch anime. So anime was like my escape from reality, and that's why My Hero like still has this like special place in my heart, because it's been the one series that I've been watching every week for the past 7 years up at this to this point. It's probably even longer now, because they're on the 7th season, if I remember correctly. And that was the one thing that I would like, that was my one little bit of joy that I had. Like, don't get me wrong, the rest of my life was joyful, but that was the one thing that like I let myself do, because that was the one thing that I know I could do. Because it was 20 minutes, and I was like, I can spare 20 minutes. Some days, like, there would be occasional days where like I would waste a whole day maybe watching content, or like maybe I'd stay up until 2 or 3 in the morning like watching a series like Ultra Carbon and eating a whole box of like Chips Ahoy cookies, or like a whole 2 pints of ice cream while binge watching like the Umbrella Academy. Like I'd watch these other shows, it would just like after they were finished, like I'd have this empty feeling, and I didn't like that. Whereas like when I would like sit down and I'd finish a book, and I'd read a book like The Old Man of the Sea, and I'd read that in a day, and then I'd go on a bike ride, like I felt so much more fulfilled, and like I just felt better by doing something like that, compared to like staying at home and not leaving the apartment or leaving the house or whatever it may be of wherever I was. I still did, however, enjoy watching My Hero. Like I said, it was cool being able to see this like small little dude, Deku, who didn't have powers, who didn't understand. Like he just wanted to be a hero. Like that was his whole dream. That was his whole like identity of what he wanted to be. But the dude was born without powers. He didn't have those powers. And yet he was graced by All Might. That was like, you will get to be a hero. And this is the great part with it. It's just like, regardless of, if you just show up, even when you're afraid, like Deku did when he saved Bakugo from the slime monster, and I believe like episode 1 when All Might was like, yeah, you will be able to be a hero. That moment has stuck with me. It sticks with me to this day. So it's like, there's people that say My Hero's mid and it's gone downhill, but it's just like, they don't have the same connection that I have to it. There's some deep aspect that's just like, this was the one thing that got me through those dark nights, those lonely times where like I could just look forward to watching this one TV show, this one anime, because like I didn't give myself any of those things from like 19 all the way up to like 25 or so. Like I just cut it all out of my system basically. Occasionally, like I said, I would watch an episode here and there, but like the dude Deku, all he wanted to do was become a hero, and then he was able to become a hero. But he didn't understand his powers. He didn't understand like the strength that he had within himself. He didn't understand his resolve, his spirit. And I did a video on that with Baki as well too. But it's just like Deku, the man without powers, was able to make the change and become the most powerful character ever. And I mean, you can look at that and be like, yeah, that's just shown in writing, but it's just like, I look at that and I see that as like, I see that as me, and maybe you can see that as you too. But I saw it as like, here's me, a little kid in his early 20s that has no idea what he's doing, no idea where he's going, no purpose, no direction. And here's this one thing, this one solution that somebody provided to me on the internet. And I can go do this thing. I can have everything that I've ever desired if I just sacrifice and I train and I give up certain things in my life that I once found joy and pleasure in, to be able to have a life that I truly want to live for the rest of my life. To me, that was a no-brainer. Like, I would switch that any day of the week. And it's like why I've been able to do this for the past 4 years almost, getting up on 4 years, is make these videos, is because it's just like, I sacrificed time watching anime, and then I was able to come back and like say watch it again if I want to. I don't watch as much as I do now because I like being able to go outside, and like I have different projects that I'm working on, but I still do believe that what I am saying is applicable, and I want to help you out because I know that I was in your exact same position, and if I had somebody that came in and was able to give these references to me, maybe it would have helped me out a little bit more. So that's why I do these things. I just want to make sure that like you understand that sometimes in order to get what you want, you have to be willing to give up something of yours that you find of value. It's just part of the process. Otherwise, you'll be in the exact same place that you've always been. I keep working hard, I keep researching, I keep trying, I keep studying, I keep testing different ideas and theories and perspectives. And like sometimes maybe my arm will get broken like Deku's did when he punched that first robot. Like he didn't understand his own strength. He didn't understand his own like capabilities of what he could do. And he had to then refine his body and refine his skills and refine his mind and understand that, like, okay, I can only use 10% of one front. Okay, right now I can only use it in my arm or in my leg, or like, okay, I get that. It's like needs to be in a microwave and I need to be able to like turn myself and evenly heat myself and turn myself on evenly in it. Oh, maybe if I put in a like more 5% into my leg or something, I can give a little bit more kick and I can use a little bit more power. But it's just like we have to be willing to like understand our own powers, and I didn't understand my own powers at first. I still like sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Maybe you're in that exact same place. Maybe you're trying to understand your powers and your capabilities and your superpower. Like once you understand your superpower, the world is your oyster at that point in time. You can defeat any enemy that stands in your way. It's just there's going to be times when you get hurt, when you fall down, when you're wondering like, is this even worth it? And that's why I'd recommend like going and checking the video that I did on Kuma and happiness, like how you can turn suffering into happiness. And I used an example of Kuma from One Piece. Because we all have these in our own like psyche. We all have these within ourselves. It's just a matter of like, what are you willing to do to be able to make your dreams a reality? Are you willing to give up, say, video games or play for an hour a day instead of 6 hours a day or 14 hours a day? Because I've been there. Like, or are you willing to like not spend 11 hours binge watching like maybe Blue Exorcist or Demon Slayer or My Hero Academia or One Piece or something like that, and maybe instead of spending those 12 hours like binge watching a show, maybe you spend those 12 hours reading a book that'll, like a nonfiction book, not a fiction book, a nonfiction book that'll help you progress in your life in some way, shape, or form, that'll give you a skill, that'll help you increase your income, that'll help you increase your overall wellness or health or being or spirituality or whatever it may be. You do that time and time again, and you'll start to be planting like good seeds of karma. You'll start to be reaping more rewards because instead of you doing what you didn't originally do, you're starting to change. You're starting to change yourself. You're starting to become someone new. You're starting to forge yourself in the fire like I talked about in that Demon Slayer video that I was talking about. It's really just a matter of doing things that you didn't originally think you could do and staying up even if you don't have the powers, like Deku did against a slime monster, and then Grace, or quote-unquote All Might, will come into your life and he'll give you exactly what you need. You get exactly what you need wherever you are. And it's just a matter of like understanding that sometimes you have to be willing to give up the things that you love in order to like prosper in the ways that you desire. I know I've done that, and if I can do that, then you can do that. And I hope you all the best. I really do hope you the best on this journey, because it really is a meaningful journey that you are stepping down. It's a road that very few people travel. It's a road that Deku himself, like, he didn't travel. It's a road that I didn't imagine traveling. It's a road that I've been grateful and fortunate enough to travel. And I'm going to continue traveling down this road as long as I possibly can, because I don't see any other way around it. It's given me so much more joy and fulfillment. I've struggled so much, but it's like I'd rather do something that's incredibly meaningful and impactful that takes me years and years of my life compared to something that's like mediocre, only somewhat gratifying, because then it's like then I go back to bad habits that I once had. Whereas like Deku, he's always training, he was always getting better, he's going out on his own, he's supporting his family, he's supporting his crew, like he's saving the world. You have the exact same power in yourself. You might not be able to save the world at large like Deku, but you can at least save one person. That's what I'm doing right now. And I know the person that's listening to this right now and has made it to this point in the video, that's been wanting me to keep making these videos up until this point. I know that you out there, you're going to make it. You're going to survive. You're going to be powerful. You're going to have more than you ever even dreamed possible, and you're going to accomplish more than you ever even imagined, because you have heart, you have spirit, you have a drive, and you keep doing things even when you don't have the powers that be right now. Like Deku, like I was saying, he went in even without powers, and then he was able to have powers. You may have something where it's like you don't have the sale, you don't have the person, you don't have the client, whatever it may be, but you're going to go in regardless of what you know, and you're going to share the information that you have because you have heart, because you have spirit, because you aren't willing to give up in the face of adversity, because you do know that you are a true hero at heart. Thank you for watching. I'm grateful for each and every single one of you. Got a little emotional during this one. I kind of pulled back a little bit at a couple of times because I guess maybe there's still aspects to that I haven't fully healed from, so I didn't want to share all of that with you all that much. But no, it's not so much a healing aspect. It's just more of a, it's a reminiscent type of thing. It's just like, this is the thing that it really kept me going. It kept me going a lot. So it holds a special place in my heart. It's inspired me to keep going, and if it's inspired me to keep going, I know it'll do the same for you.